Hey fellas, a lot has happened over the last 6 months, and not just because of this outbreak either. With the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra coming as ever expansions of and so many Pokemon games post previous generation sequels, their versions and ultra versions, I thought I would take the opportunity to do another experiment. So, let's take a look at Pokemon Sword and Shield 6 months after the initial release and see how things progressed. Admittedly, part of why I held off going in depth like this because of the uproar, but was the uproar truly warranted? Let's open them up and find out. Just a quick little caution, there will be analysis of the story, gameplay, visuals, and other key elements to this, as this is one click away before I continue just in case you haven't played these games yet. And here we go. Right off the bat, you're given a choice which trainer you want for your avatar. I chose a male one, naming him Scamander in Sword and Samwise in Shield. You're also given a choice of which one closely resembles yours. Rather than a Pokemon Professor, your introduction to the games was given by Shaman Rose, one of many times these titles say, and now for something completely different. That'll be one of many British references in this game takes place in the Galar region, a land heavily based in England and surrounding areas. The gym leaders take the feel like it's a World Cup. I really like how this game revamped the approach to gym battles. Treating the gym leaders and champion Leon like real-life athletes and celebrities, but that's a nice contrast to your journey as a player. It turns out that it was using a mobile phone, which is described as Flash by your best friend and rival in this game, Hop. It's going to be sort of a Galarian How in this game. I've never heard the term for playing this. I can tell from context it meant cool. Anyway, after being wished well by your mother and his mother, you're sent off to meet Professor Magnolia and her granddaughter, Sonia, to get your start from Leon. While there are many characters that caught the fans' eye in these games, I'm just going to say that Sonia is one of my favorites. Hop is also Leon's little brother, and wants to be just like him. After you're given the task, your mobile is given the power of the Rotom Dex to make it the Rotom phone, and the access to Rotom Dex Generation 7, and you're given your starters. I went with Scorbunny and Sword, naming him Jazz, and Sobble and Shield, naming him Mondo Gecko. Hop also has a Wooloo that was given to him by his brother, who was seen ramming the gate earlier. I must say, I really like his battle theme with still tracks music being done by Toby Fox Undertale fame. I've let everything below my neck go, moving to the beat. Wooloo then breaks through the gate, prompting Hop and I to go after Wooloo in the slumbering wield. This leads to an encounter with a legendary beast tied to each version. I really like how the fog impacts your UI, sound, and visuals now that your attacks have any effect. Then, you wake up as the fog clears. Insert Keanu Reeves' giant Silverhand reference here. After a barbecue between the two families, we officially set off from our hometown of Postwick at the train station in Wedgehurst. The journey has officially begun. Please bear in mind, as I'm mostly doing this from memory, some events may be described differently depending on your experiences. That said, I did enjoy the playthrough, so I'll do my best to go through the main story in chronological order. Some events are unique to each version, but thankfully, the core gameplay is consistent between the two. I will point out that I do like both Motorstoke and Hammerlock being used as hubs before you return to challenge their gyms. Sometimes the soloist callbacks are most effective, not through existing monsters or their human partners, but through something as simple as the layout of the map. This series also bookend the wild area, which I'll address when I get to the gameplay later on. Heading through the Galar mines, we also see another rival in Bede. Contrasting more laid-back Hop, he's a much more cold and calculating individual. I think it's actually a nice compromise to have both a friend with a mutual goal and a rival that's more condescending. Plus, he reminds me of Giorno, both in looks and personality. It's the hair and outfit especially. Plus, his theme music is probably my favorite rival battle themes and silvers. After going through the first section of the game in the Galar Mines, the first gym is in Turffield against its leader Milo. As a grass gym leader, I rather like the gentle giant guardian vibe he gives off, though his design kind of reminds me of Moon if he were training with the Macho race. Before you face him, you had to wrangle some Wooloo. I really like that the new gym challenge is combined with the puzzle solving of the Allen Charles Generation 7. The first gym is also a full introduction to the Dynamax and Gigantamax mechanics, which allow your monsters to assume giant size for 3 turns once each battle. Much like Mega Evolution's moves before it, they're a nice way to shape the gameplay convention and add a new core element of mechanics. There were lots of Godzilla and Power Rangers memes abound as well, though this time I got more of a vibe of Marvel's Giant Man. I ended up winning, getting my first badge en route to the next gym. The next destination is in Holbury, where the leader is a warranted specialist Nessa, a statuesque stunner of a gym leader who moonlights as a model. Before you face her, there's also a puzzle to solve about raising and lowering the levels of water in him to get to her. I rather like it, ever since I first saw it unveiled. After I get the second badge, there's another meeting with Chairman Rose and Assistant Oleana at a local fish and chip shop. Even though it lies ahead, I really like Rose's casual outfit as a stretch of gameplay clothes while having lunch. Heading back to Motostoke by way of Galamine number 2, there's no second encounter with Bede, revealing that Rose has sponsored him for the gym challenge. There are some skirmishes with the villain faction of these games, Team Yell. On top of making light groups in the fandom that should not be mentioned here, they do fit the setting as a mix of punk rockers and sports hooligans being self-proclaimed backers to their rival Marnie. I mean, a little vocal minority with noxious loudmouths and face paint, tooting horns, waving banners, and not listening to what others say. Make your own assumptions. The Motostoke gym leader is the file-type specialist Kabu, who an elderly person who has a choice of gym challenge to reach him, earn points by catching monsters or fighting the other gym trainers. I chose the latter since there's little Pokeballs at the time in both versions. Beating him was a bit easier in Shields and start with Sobble there, raising to a Drizzile. Now catching a Choodle and Sword and raising into a Dreadnought is also pretty useful. The next stop is in Stellon Side, whose gym leader is different depending on which version you play. In Shield, you face off against a ghost-type specialist Alistair, a young man who's already seen without his mask. Despite being a child of prodigy of sports and battle, he's very introverted in terms of personality. On the other side of the coin, in Sword, you had the fighting type Master B. While not as young as Alistair, he's still implied to be a student when not in battle in both looks and personality. She kind of reminds him of Code from Street Fighter 3. Before you fight them, you end up going through a giant pinball machine to reach them, and fighting the other gym trainers while also guiding your avatar in what appears to be a takeoff of the teacup ride at Disneyland. I really like the design of Stellon Side as a town. I've always liked how the series made things integral to the story, like any fiction I enjoy does, and or makes them interesting to see the series explore. Case in point, outside the city, Foster is resurrected by scientist Kara Liss, who fuses together parts to make hybrid creatures I can't help but love. Also, insert show Tucker E. Malcolm reference here, as many others have. One key story event here is when exploring the ruins to find more information on Gala's darkest day. It's another confrontation with Bede. When he wrecks a mural that contains the scene of Darkest Day, Rose unfortunately forced to rescind his sponsor for the gym challenge. The next gym is through the forest known as Glenwood Tangle, revealed in a Medic 24-hour livestream this past October. I didn't see all of it as it was the same time I was going to see Joker, but I liked how relaxing the past was. It reminded me of something Bob Ross. This is the town of Balloonia, home of the fairy type master Opal. I really like her appearance and demeanor of eccentric but wise old grandmother, as gyms are my state have been her family for centuries. Much like Blaine before her, the challenge also involves a bit of trivia and battle. I always had a soft spot for that kind of mentor archetype, and this character in series excels at that. After getting her badge, next gym is in Circhester, which is another one that varies depending on which version you play. I got the twin pack, which is the first time I've done this, so in Sword you fight the rock type leader Gordy, and in Shield you fight his mother Melanie, an ice type leader. I only get one villas. I do like the body positivity, especially someone who's been able to measure their body type over the last decade in Shatner's. Back to my ideal heel Star Trek 1 or 2 Shatner. My worst was at Star Trek 5 to 6 levels. Heck, if I shave one, I can even pass Chris Pine now, but I get ahead of myself. However, before that, we get another encounter with Bede. I want to thank YouTube user ThatOneGameBoy in advance for for this part in HQ and no commentary. Though he's still a bit full of himself and reluctant to admit his mistakes, a chance encounter with Opal presents a hilarious and pink opportunity. So, Opal becomes Bede's new sponsor, selecting him to be her eventual successor as gym leader and fit her adopted grandson. This game is rated E, folks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I ended up winning my 6 bags in Search Chester. Now the game is showing its true potential. While I did like the Let's Go games for how they imagine Yellow for new generation, these are truly worthy of being the first game series developed entirely with the Switch in mind. I especially like how they worked the world and the story, and the weather patterns aren't just fantasy. Weather in the UK is often like that. Sun, rain, snow, and fog are all common. I really like how there's certain months going to be caught in certain specific conditions. Now, to address a Q fan in the room, Team Yell. Though this may seem like a swipe at surface level about how someone will hostile trash the game, next destination proof there's more to them than that. Spike Muth. For the record, I only skimmed the now infamous Affleck leak, and I'm still verifying the information myself as I am wont to do. It did reveal some details before they were officially confirmed. That said, I still just take at most leaks with a grain of salt. A whole side of it's bad for your blood pressure. I still remember the Grinch Lake Christmas was ultimate, after all. Spike Muth is the location you're serving the badge, and this time, the Chancellor would like to call the Gauntlet. End up fighting waves of Team Yell grunts to get the gym leader. Some criticize resembling an arcade brawler, and once again, going against the tide and praising it for the same reason. Now, the opponent for the 7th badge is Pierce. Yeah. On top of being the older brother for Marty, he's the only gym leader in the game not to use Dynamax special moves. He was even offered the chance to gain access to his ability, but he refused. He prefers battles as a dark type specialist the old-fashioned way, face to face, eye to eye. His sister Marty is also being put to take over the gym one day, and she holds no sorts of qualms about the Dynamax. Now after that, it's back to Hammerlock for the 8th and final badge against Dragon Master Raihan. On top of weather effects being favored by him, his ace Duraludon in its Gigantamax, or G-Max form for short. The base monster is essentially Mechagodzilla, and special form is kind of like Fortress Maximus or Metroplex and Transformers. That won't be the only time I bring that up. For now, so to speak, Duraludon heeds the call of the last badge. All 8 badges have been won, so now it's time to go to the Pokemon League in Winden. The city is basically their version of London. It was specifically modeled after the key monsters at the Piccadilly Circus in Trafalgar Square. Rather than the Elite Four this time, you get to the champion fighting opponents in a new setting called the Champion Cup. I really like this change with the past games, which I'll come back to in the gameplay section. It's here with 2 big character traits retconned, as Doga being plays more humans throughout much of the game. Hop, an energetic rival, and your best friend acts what he does because he feels like he's always in your shadow, and his brothers. But like how before he acts this way to display inner comments he wants to have like his brother Leon. On that note, Leon's lack of direction is my running gag in the game, until his last stretch reveals that Chairman was deliberately misleading him so as not to interfere with his real plan. The final stretch of the main story is a big one. I really like how that it makes the play not only yes have Hop's coin, but Leon's as well. Also, before I really get going, I actually don't mind Leon's outfit the way others do. It actually makes a lot of sense for his outfit to be a sports version of a Royal Noble. The high tops, they keep covered in product placements, kind of like a stock car racer, Captain Amazing Mystery Man. His hat being trimmed like a crown. Makes perfect sense for his character. I don't mind the hat trick he does when you win. For anyone else asks, I both like the Antares animation and Smash Bros. Ultimate for the win for different reasons. It's been a mainstay of Terry ever since I first played the Roach Saga in arcades. Do not cite the deep magic to me, which I was there when it was written. As the new champion, your first challenge comes from none other than Chairman Rose. His plan was to use the Dynamax energy and the Wishing Stars to bring about the Darkest Day. I've received your energy crisis despite the reserves. Or still, He's not been trying to hide behind a facade being well-intentioned like previous villains have been, openly managed plans of stadiums, televisions. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe he's crossed more than horizon. To put Oleon also being in play, it turns out his employees also part of a second villain faction as macrocosmos as they go. I also think this might handle much better with Team Flare, and like the Galarian Aether Foundation. There was no chance of them being Team Plasma in my book, but I still like fighting them regardless. Everyone must now band together to prevent the Darkest Day, and really like how the lore worked in the story. With the help of gym leaders, and Hop, everyone, having learned second nature, decides to confront Rose. The penultimate fight with Oleana, which is also my first major encounter with Bam Asgard Boulder, was also a good challenge. Monster's new form looks more like Hedora, the small monster than ever. I also really like the music when battling with her. It's one of my favorite admin battle themes. The final battle is only against Rose, but also sees her capturing Tornadus as well. It's only a few times in the history of his series to date that where the events play out in this manner and are required to do so. I actually like to support getting the third months before you get the legendary beast of each version. Even when the render scenes constant in games, despite the next entry listing it its size at 65'7" and 20 meters, again, Transformers fans are weird on the scale in that franchise. Whereas if the original TV show in the 80s or even the recent Bumblebee, still don't how big either of I can fit in the Volkswagen. Rose. Realism is not going back from what he's done in terms of in the end game seems many significant developments. Sonia is promoted to full-on Pokemon Professor as her grandmother's eventual successor. Legend of Galar has come true, with Hop and the player being recognized as heroes. The game's book ended by being able to battle and catch the legendary beast combat responds to the version of the game you play. The post-game quest sees Swordward and Shieldbird, two individuals who claim to have ties to Galar's royal bloodline, trying to take the title of legendary beast from you. Though only mildly condescending compared to rivals like Silver, who, when left with Pokemon Master softening him in a recent event, could have been just steps away from becoming the Joker. Once you beat them, they thankfully do soften. I also do rather like the spat I get into with Piers or whose hairstyle more absurd. Now that I've run through my experiences in the story, let's talk the other factors. And now that I mentioned sound in terms of music, but the other in terms of like the audio too. Though some of my mother wasn't any voice acting, I personally go against the tide as I have done other aspects more openly and state that I don't think it's necessary. Every game that successfully pulls it off, there are countless others that have me laughing at best and scrambling for the mute button at worst. When spells attached to Pikachu have done fine with it, I don't think I want any just yet in the main series. Besides, if I had, you'll probably purchase Simulator Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild. Side characters can speak, but keep the titles mostly silent. Because it's easier for me to mold the character during the personality I would want. I also like the little touches that help the settings stand out. Cars drive on the left side of the road, benches and shops are called trainers, Hop calls you mate as his friend when the police officers you battle is named who else? Bobby. Here in the Corviknight tags and yes, cabbies seem to be modeled after actual British cabbies. Visually, the game is gorgeous. The upscaling argument made no sense to me when the Switch told me how the same internal components of consoles succeeded. Despite what others claim, the same design is not equal to the same model. One rotates from Zamazenta has nothing on wrestlers zipping on the ringing into View 2K20. Besides, as someone who still plays and enjoys games with 8-bit 16-bit eras, I can assure you that the arguments some people were making in the game were not going to work on me. It's inherently clear they've come a long way graphically since the original interest on Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and I do like how so much Gigantamax ones pay homage to the original sprites. Those are my favorite kind of Easter eggs. I like the 2D sequences is in Mario Odyssey and the entire concept of the Wild homaging the original Zelda. I think someone like me, who loves seeing the classic stages coming back in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, would be intimidated by petty N64 trees insults. Seeing as how Ocarina of Time's all-time favorite game, it's only the second worst attempt at skimming in trees. The first was The Happening. Either way, it didn't scare me as much as me when I was in a rush. Now comes the part that's most important to me in any game, including these ones, the gameplay. As someone who's always viewed completing my Pokedex as a secondary quest ever since I was younger, this badly was never going to be something I bought into. I'm not sure how things will go in the near future, but I'm still planning plenty of counterexamples both in and out of the franchise of having access to every monster isn't necessary to have a good gameplay experience. Pokemon Snap is titled I revere for its photography aspects, even though only 60 videos and monsters are available. The two Pokemon Stadium games were first to competitive play still after today. Both Colosseum and Gale of Darkness put the series the same without plus Mad Max films. Most dungeon games proved you don't have to have plays every monster to get a good gameplay experience. Pokemon Conquest, fantastic strategy tied on crossover Nobunaga's ambition, and made calls such in the Japan. Pokemon Tournament series focused on a great variety of monsters in the series to make a fantastic fighting game on a platform for Namco Bandai's own Tekken series. Heck, even before I pre-ordered the Twin Pack, I specifically factored in replay of other titles I picked up to keep busy. Zelda, Splatoon 2, Mario Maker 2, other RPGs such as Final Fantasy series and Bastion, and even titles bought on win like Doom 64 and Katamari Damacy Reroll. The one concept between all of them is this. If I had to choose between more content right away and better gameplay at start, I would choose the gameplay every time. As such, I've logged over 200 hours combined on these titles, and if there weren't a pandemic going on, I'd still be willing to play them both for hundreds more. The control is spot on, intermittent Joy-Con drift aside, and the UI and core gameplay are among the best in the series. The wild area is honestly one of the most fun places to explore in the entire series. I'd love to see it expand in the future. I really love the Pokemon camp and curry cooking. It's the latest way of making monsters cute even when they're otherwise terrifying. Eternius, how shall I bring by the darkest day? Also Eternius, ooh, is that sweet curry? It's not the number of monsters that make a game for me, it's how I play it. I can easily see myself as continuing to defend my title in the Champion League for ages to come. I admit, I don't know for sure how this series' first ever expansion will work, but given how Nintendo is typically more sparing than other companies on these, I try to be the voice of optimism whenever I can. That being the case, I honestly think it shouldn't be too different than how Smash Bros. Ultimate's Fighter Pass or Splatoon 2 auto expansion worked in terms of cost and content included. It's fulfilling the same role a sequel, third version, or ultra version would. I've already opted in, I'm eager to see how it turns out. If all else fails, I can't imagine going over worse than Fallout 76 or WWE 2K20 or Anthem. All things considered, despite their tragic claims otherwise, no series gets to be the best ever, absolutely no one still likes it. One of my associates believed something given way, but if latest financial reports an indication, the opposite has happened. As of March 2020, Pokemon Sword and Shield sold over 17 million copies worldwide across all versions, being among the top 5 best-selling games on the Switch, and the top 1 of the entire franchise, about 30% of the 55 million units which is sold to date. 6 months later, they're hitting at how I look at it. Proverbial blue ocean. I'll see you all next month when the Outlaw goes live, and again later this year the Crown Tundra goes live. Later.